Hi everyone, it's Michelle Lightworker here. I'm really excited today. I have a wonderful and very energetic guest that I connect with on a very high vibration with, Scotty Z. And Scotty Z has been on the front cover of Lightworker Advocate magazine in 2016. He's actually shared his journey of how he's committed to his spiritual path, and now he's conducting amazing adventures across the globe to encourage people to do the same thing, to find their love within, to connect with their spirit, and to help them to soar to the heights that they're here for. So welcome, Scotty Z.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Interesting. That's a very beautiful introduction. And the fact that we were just having a conversation about the introduction, that came out very beautifully. And the words that you use is exactly what I feel is my purpose on this planet, is to be the height of ecstasy, to be love in this manifestation, and to inspire, to light the flame of other people's inspiration to also live in love. I feel that right now, everything that's happening in our world is all perfect for us to be love. You know, we're at the age of enlightenment for a reason. This age of Pisces, this age of duality is here, and it's coming to a real precipice that we are bursting through that duality and moving back into unity, back into the age of Aquarius, into love, to be one with the Tao once more. So it's been a great journey, and it continues for all of us.
Yeah, I love that. And I so resonate with that. You know, there's not a lot of people that can hold that vision amidst all the chaos. And I really gravitate and I really resonate with those people that during the chaos, they're able to hold firm and really hold firm to love and unity, because that is the time that it's really required insofar as a leadership level. And it's not about denying the chaos, is it? It's not about denying the separation. It's not about denying the duality. Sure, it's there. We see it. Sure, it's being played out. But it's about being able to say, that's cool. It's all cool right now. That is exactly how it's meant to be playing out. And how I can feed that to lift is to really sit in that pocket of love and non-judgment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
really
a beautiful time to be alive.
It is really. I feel like, you know, like I know that it's probably when this airs, like it'll be around about February 2017. What we've been through recently has been interesting, insofar as the US election and the backlash of Donald Trump getting in now. And when I originally heard you share on your live feed about voting with love, it really resonated with me, because sometimes really in the political climate, whatever political climate we're in, sometimes we really feel, I don't want to vote. I don't want to put my energy towards that person or that person. I don't even like the candidates here. What am I doing? And I think the younger generation especially think that as well, don't they? And I think if you can go in with a sense of a higher vibrational frequency of I feel guided or what have you at this point in time to support this person, and I'm going to choose to do that from a place of love. Perhaps I don't agree with everything they're offering right now. Perhaps I don't agree with every policy. I don't agree with their past or their history. But for whatever reason, I'm called to back this person, and then allow the process to unfold for them as a leader, and also for the country's consciousness insofar as what transpires after they're chosen. I think it's really important to go in with that sense of love and unity and faith, that it's all in perfect order for the collective whole. Yes?
Yeah, I agree with you. The political scene that we're in at the moment is very fascinating for me. I believe that, being that it is November now, and as you say, we just finished the elections in America. And I say we just finished the elections because it was a global election, you know. Totally. And to me, this was not about Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. It wasn't about the red versus the blue. This was about love and fear. And that was it. And the world watched it. I have friends in Europe that I speak to regularly. And in Europe, there is a lot of fear right now. There is a lot of love right now. In Australia, there is a lot of fear right now, but there's a lot of love right now. And to me, this is a beautiful example of how we get to choose each moment what it is that we focus on. And we know where we focus is where we go. That solo tree on the middle of nowhere road that everyone keeps running into, you know, that target fixation where you're driving and then all of a sudden you hit this one bloody light pole, this one tree in the middle of nowhere because you focused on it. This is what we're at now. We've got this beautiful world in front of us, beautiful world. We've got more love consciousness beaming through than ever before, moving out of that age of fear, what in the yoga tradition we call Kali Yuga. Kali is the destroyer, the destruction, the one tearing off heads and ripping off heads. We're moving from Kali Yuga into Sat Yuga, into the golden age. In the more Western tradition, we're moving from Pisces, which is the two fish swimming against each other, the duality, you know, like the yin yang, yeah, the two fish swimming against each other, the polarities. And we're moving into Aquarius, which is the water bearer, the water that the fish live in, the unity, the Tao. That's where we're moving to. And it's such a beautiful place right now because we know, okay, when we move from one to the other, we have to let go of one to move into the other. So am I still going? Beautiful. Sorry, I got a phone call coming.
Yes, yeah, just lost you for a sec, but that's cool.
Somebody tried to call me, so I hung up on them quickly, but it's okay. I'm still here. We're moving. Well, we're letting go of. That was quick. It doesn't matter. We're moving from one into the other, and so we're letting go of fear. And that's what I think. A lot of what I see, it's what I think, I feel, and I understand. A lot of what's happening around this U.S. election is we're letting go. We're letting go of this worry and this doubt and this fear. And there's people that are still in it. You know, that's fine. That's totally fine. But there's more of us now that are waking up than ever before. And that's what I'm most excited about. And by the time this airs in February, it'll be a different world. We will not be in the same world that we're in right now.
Exactly. And I think it's important to speak to that. And in fact, when I was on my run this morning, I was reflecting on that actually the most. And I was feeling like, you know, 12 weeks or 10 or 12 weeks, whatever have passed. And what has society gone through? I feel like the temptation for the people that didn't win and their fan base is to step out of unity. If they were all for the democracy of, you know, let's all as a collective voice vote for who we want. I mean, that's democracy, you know. That's what they're standing for too. And then to have a backlash or a negative response to the fact that they didn't get what they wanted. Interesting, because that's anti-democracy. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? But that's kind of interesting. I think there's a temptation to fall into duality and separation, because if they're standing for unity as a democracy, as a collective voice, then the shadow aspect of that is being challenged and saying, do you really stand for that? If you do stand for that, then you need to actually put positive energy into what's moving forward. And after I listened to what you had to say on your live feed, and then I did a little snippet on my live feed on talking about how the president or the leader of any country usually represents the majority of what's going on collectively in a country, then I actually was able to say the words, you know, it's all, if we understand that because we are a collective, we have to, as leaders, if we don't exercise compassion for the people that perhaps aren't as conscious and are standing anti-unity, you know, like for instance, if you've got people that are saying we're right and you're wrong, we're on this side and you're on that side in any political argument, then they're really stepping out of unity. And so for me, the whole thing is about understanding that how we react to the choice is part of unity as well. We can actually feed it with positivity, or we can feed it with our low vibrational negative thinking. And then in doing so, we step out of unity, and we step out of love, and we step out of compassion. That's our challenge. I think as leaders, that's our challenge, to not step out of unity, to not step out of love. And not only that, but I was really interested because on my live feed, when I actually said what I had to say, and then I listened to Donald Trump's speech, the first thing he was talking about was unity. And I'm thinking, I actually said on my live feed, oh, you don't know whoever's listening, the president might be listening. And I'm, you know, whether he listened or not, I still said those words, and we're all connected. So somehow the message, I believe, is of those positive energy and that positive intention of unity is actually feeding through. I really believe that, wholeheartedly believe that, because I was like sitting there in the car just about to go into yoga. It was 5 to 6. I had like 5-minute window. The president's speech comes on, bam. I started kind of tearing up thinking, the messages are getting through, guys. If we don't actually have faith that even presidents can change, things change, then that's when we start to step into fear, right? And feed it with fear.
I'm going to challenge a little bit of the whole languaging that we have right now around this world, because we're bound by language. Language is how we communicate to one another, but it's also how we communicate from our conscious mind to our subconscious mind. If we're working in a world of duality and we really want to move to a world of unity, we need to change the way that we speak to one another and to ourselves. When you say leader, it means that there is something else, and we would say that word is a follower. There may be other words that you would use. The unity that we wish to receive in this world, we must let go of this idea of there being two, a leader and a follower. I'm not a leader anymore, and that was very hard for me to realize, and I'm still realizing as I'm saying these words right now. I've been a leader, recognized leader, since I was 15 years old. You know, through high school, the leadership positions, and then into management roles, and then into many, many different leadership roles throughout my life. It's not the future, Michelle. It's not the future. For me, a leader still has this ego attachment to it, that I am in a different place to the people that I serve or that follow me. And really where I want to be in this world is to be a complete servant. We take again the way that the indigenous people look at the way of land. They don't own land, they're custodians. They take care of Mother Earth. And this is where I feel that we must go to as well, is rather than I'm the leader and I will stand up, or even in a humble way, like I will lead, letting go of that and just being a servant. And this is the skill sets that I have. These are the skill sets that I will use. I'm not different than, I stand in solidarity with, and I bring that which I have the ability to bring. But I'm a servant. I'm just a servant. Can you imagine if Donald Trump stood up there and he was a servant for us all? Or Hillary Clinton was a servant for us all? Or this big corporation that I just finished working for 2 days ago, $1 billion multinational corporation. Imagine if those leaders were servants of the people that were there. And the people that were there were servants of everybody. And it wasn't this hierarchical top-down, you work for me. Give me a pound of flesh, grind the money out of you. Or I'm up here, you're down there. It's not the way. The future is for all of us to be equal. And even the idea of being a leader, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that we think that we're leaders. It's just that we need to let go of that. We need to stop thinking that we're different, that there's someone there and I'm over here and I'm going to lead you and follow me, and get in that place where I have skills and I'm going to serve. If we can all be servants, we have unity. We have a life of solidarity, of connection, of community. So thank you for sharing what you shared. That really helped.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the reason why I set up Enlightened Conversations to be more like a conversation rather than an interview, because I don't want to feel like I'm leading anything really. I just want to, I guess the way I look at the word leadership in an enlightened way is from the point of view of that we can hold space for that unity and that equality longer than other people can just at the moment. That changes every day, you know. Everybody can step up to that. All we're doing is holding space for it. We're just holding space for that vibration. That's it. The vibration is all of us. So we're literally not disconnected from the whole in that thinking. And I think as if you like, as non-leaders in, you know, just as in the people, if we want to look at it like that, we can still be leaders in this example of the election, in that, yeah, we might not be ruling or making decisions or governing the United States. However, because we need to take responsibility for our energy and the energy that is that of unity as a collective, we need to be really conscious about what we're feeding it, because it is actually, we're creating it. And so we're creating the leaders, if you like, that are governing and making the decisions, and perhaps not being servants and not holding space as much as, you know, being in that power and control. Like, we're creating that, we're feeding that. And I think that it takes a lot of enlightenment really to get that, because a lot of people just think that there are right and wrong decisions, that there are right and wrong people in leadership. They don't see that or feel it's as important that the response that they have to what's going on, it either feeds it and propels it forward, or it actually transforms it. I think we have the power to transform leaders into servants, actually. That's probably my point.
Well, what does enlightened mean?
To you or to me?
Yeah,
or to everybody?
as a conversation. What do you reckon enlightened is? Let's brainstorm that.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I feel like it's about being able to, I was actually doing a little reading the other day on what enlightened conversations, reflects to me. And I actually pulled a card, and it was really interesting. It made me cry too, because when I pulled the card, it really reflected back at me exactly what I felt it meant. Because Google didn't help and Wikipedia didn't. Insight, wisdom, yeah, okay. It was interesting. I think one comment was to be enlightened. I mean, it's like that. But I pulled the card, and it was on the third eye, which is about seeing clearly. And it was on forgiveness, which is an interesting principle, because for me, forgiveness means that I'm able to see there isn't anything really to judge in the first place. So for me, enlightenment is all about really being able to see what we were talking about before, that there isn't really the right and wrong, the duality, that it's all good, that it's all serving the evolution of consciousness of humanity. And for me, so enlightenment is that process. And I actually believe everybody's on that journey, like everybody. Like, I don't look at one person and go, well, you're not on the journey of enlightenment because perhaps you're unconscious. That's a load of crap. They're absolutely on the journey of enlightenment. Every single person is. So that's a quality for me, that we're all on the journey. Even if they can't see it, I can still see it. So that for me is my enlightenment, my responsibility. I think that if we all saw that everybody was on that journey, that's why I wrote the Everyday Lightworker Bible, because we're all actually in the forward of my book. I actually say this book is dedicated to everybody. Nobody gets left out ever. And for me, that's really important, that we're all on the journey. And the more that we see that, the more we can actually connect to heart space, get out of judgment of the head, and actually really feel that, we'll step into that vibration of holding space more, because we're not in the fear and the judgment and the separation then. We're actually able to go, you know what? You're doing the best you can. Gee, you made maybe a shitty decision according to everybody else in the whole country, but you know what? You're on your journey of enlightenment. That's how, that's how I see it, which makes my life easy, to be honest. A lot easier than you're right, you're wrong, I'm going to fight, you're going to blah, 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 blah. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more heart space. It's a lot more compassion. It's a lot more love. Authentically. How about you? Do you have different ideas around enlightenment for you, or?
It's been a long journey trying to work it out, I tell you. I don't have a fucking clue. I don't have a clue. I think the less I think about it, the easier it gets. That seems to be a part of it. Which is why I asked, because I'm absolutely curious. I've spent 15 years trying to work it out. But this year's been really good. This year's been more experiential than ever before. I've had a lot of glimpses of that unity, that bliss over the years, like through meditation and being with different indigenous cultures and with their people. But this year's been really big, again, experientially. Like I went to Peru at the start of the year and worked with the shamans in Peru, and we connected just after that, yeah? And that was really big. And then more recently, I've been working with some different shamans of the Hopi people. So they're the Shipibo people in Peru, and then the Hopi people are more Arizona, northern Mexico. Around there, there's the 4 states and sort of in there. And that's been really powerful as well. But yeah, working with a sort of a balance of insight. I like that you use that word, straight up insight, all about that's the whole thing about meditation, right? It's like going inside, feeling the sensations, you know, the Vipassana meditation from the Buddha, I love, absolutely love. And it's about being in that present moment experience of feeling all things, getting past the thought patterns, getting past the mind, and just being present with it all. And when I was working in Peru with the plant medicine ayahuasca, it was a totally different experience that through the journeys, and I did a lot of ceremonies with some shamans there in an intense period, like a 10-day dieta of drinking every night. And it just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. And by coming to the end of it, it's like as if there was a shell that is that ego. We talk about ego, right? That is like, I feel it's even like it's a physical energetic field that is created through polarity. We know that like a bar magnet, a magnet has a positive and a negative, and it has, remember when you were a kid, the bar magnet had like the iron filings would like tracked around it. It's like that. Or the earth itself has the north and south pole. We know we have the energetic field around the earth. Well, the human body is the same. It has the masculine pole is the mind, centered in the third eye, and the feminine is the body, centered in the dantian, with the Chinese called dantian, the gut, the two brains of the body, the mind and the gut. And then there's an energetic field. And that to me is what ego is, right? It's like this body-mind connection that's created this energetic field. And when I was with the ayahuasca, it was as if I was cracking through this perception of the ego and all of the baggage that was stuck in that field, like as if it was dark matter that was glued to what I was seeing through. And as an infinite conscious being, as I'm looking through that field to experience the outer world, which is all part of that greater field, it's another story, but this dark matter, I'm this, I'm that. And then it comes into the competitive natures. And as a young, fit, strong man, this body that I've been given, there was a lot of like, I'm better than energy. I'm stronger than, you're lesser than. And this whole thing, I'm a leader and you're a follower, and all of this, what we would traditionally call ego was there. And during the 10-day dieta, there was a lot of just dealing with that, and not dealing with it in any other way than accepting that was what was going on at that time. And it was very, very hard. It was very, very hard. But the last 6 months have been this dissolving of that dark matter, those thoughts and beliefs that was stuck in this energy field, this ego. And in the last few weeks, this other medicine, 5-MeO-DMT, it's from a toad from the Sonoran Desert with the Hopi people. And it was the same, like ayahuasca is the DMT, the spirit molecule. But what this one's done is it's an intense moment rather than the ayahuasca is slower. It's like a 4 to 5 hour journey. And it's medicine. I swear to you, it is medicine. It is healing medicine. Like the Hopi people and the Shipibo people, they used it as medicine. It is brilliant. It helped me so much. It's like I eat some food every day, like goji berries. I eat goji berries every day, Michelle, because it's medicine. It helps me. You know, I eat raw cacao every day because it's medicine. It helps me. I eat avocado almost every day because it helps me. You know, it's a medicine. It's a plant. It's a medicine from earth, even the toad. And this one was just an intense fracturing of the ego. So it was as if the consciousness of all that is shattered through the remaining parts of the ego. And I see this as where we are going, or where I'm going. Who are we? That's a great question. But where I'm going is more to experience all of this as one moment, as one reality. The past and the future are just caught up in that body-mind complex. You know, the body will decay. We know that. That's just the way that the earth is. The mind will create, it will create future, but it will remember past. You know, and there is that linear line with the body-mind complex, with the ego. But this path of enlightenment to me that I'm experiencing more now than ever before is this experience that it's all one. And that oneness is a full acceptance and a full bliss. And it's exciting. It's exciting, yeah. And it's tranquil, but it's energetic. Like being in the field is just like a rush. just this massive rush of energy, and it's just like white light bliss going boom, 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 and then bringing it back in here. It's like, whoa, this is all that is. Oh my God. And seeing the patterns and the sunrise and the sunfall and the moonrise and the birds chirp and all of it as this one experience. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, which is why the fear for me is just melting away in my own being, but I also see it in the world, because this is what we're going through. We're really moving into a place of dissolving that dark matter, dissolving those thoughts and beliefs that are holding us from experiencing all as oneness, as the Tao, as love. So where I'm at currently, I know you asked me in 3 months, it'll be a whole different experience, but that's where I'm at now. And I wish for other people, and I wish to experience more, but I wish for other people that are on this path to move into the experience of oneness. It's the future. It's bliss. It's love. It's total acceptance. It's seeing you as me and being just grateful that we're all in this together.
Absolutely. I feel for me too, like my biggest transformation into oneness was through a lot of Debbie Ford's work, where she did the dark side of the light chasers, and she talked about how you integrate your shadow, like, you know, all parts of our personality, whether it's a high vibration or a lower vibration, can have an extreme to it. And so it's kind of like about being able to go into that part of my personality. The dark matter isn't dark anymore because it's transformed. It's, you know, I've gotten the understanding. I've gotten the heart connection with that, perhaps the dark aspect, and understand how it's serving me, and then how I can then serve better because I've integrated that aspect of myself, transformed the belief. You know, I think that shadow aspects of our psyche are usually unintegrated aspects of the whole. And so when say if we come up against something that feels like ego or what have you, I think it's, for me, it's like even the word ego connotates a negative vibration. But for me, I guess parts of the self, I like to call them, that perhaps don't feel connected, always have the opportunity to feel connected when we're actually coming from a heart space, from our higher self, to talk to them, to understand them, to get why they're here, what their purpose is in the unity principle. And so for me, my transformation into where I would say my heart space more has happened from more acceptance and love and understanding of different aspects of where these old beliefs came from, not so much, because I think that even if my family of origin or a past life has presented those to me and I've taken them on some level, I needed to understand something else and I didn't yet. And that's why I had to have that experience. I you know, perhaps I took on the belief I'm not worthy or what have you, because someone treated me in a certain way in my past, like my family of origin or a past life or what have you, but I took that on. But the reason why I took that belief on was because I actually, on some level, hadn't really understood the part of me that doesn't feel worthy and why they don't, and haven't understood how they're perhaps meant to be serving me. So for instance, if I dived into that part of my psyche and I had a conversation with them from my higher self and asked them, well, why don't you feel worthy? And they might say, well, I just don't feel I'm good enough. And if I say to them, well, what do you need? And they might say, I need to know that it's okay not to be perfect. Just say, for example, that's what they said. And I'm like, okay, so you need to know it's okay not to be perfect. You need to know it's okay for me to give you permission to be a human being. Absolutely. Let's go. I'm giving it to you. I'm coming from my heart. I'm giving you that right now. Then they feel amazing. And then if I ask them, well, what's your gift to me? They could say, humility. Hello, I just cracked a nut of humility, so I don't step into better than. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of interesting work that I feel comes from, like, not even projecting negativity on the words. Like you're saying, like, words are so powerful, and like not projecting the words even on ego. A lot of people talk about ego. I like that Skyhook song, Ego is Not a Dirty Word, because it always reminds me that the shadow is not evil. The shadow is here to serve us. Everything is here to serve us. So it's my little snapshot.
Good snapshot. I like it.
Yeah. So what's next for you? You're moving. That's an interesting thing, because when I actually started talking to you, your camera was literally moving, and I'm thinking, wow, Scotty's moving. So there's a lot of change. There's a lot of change.
Yeah, it's
the irony,
man.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I given up, eh? I just given up. I surrender. I've surrendered a lot of times in my life. Like, I've been on my knees just in surrender. And I left. Man, I got back to Australia a year and a half ago now. And I was like, that's it. I'm done with travel. I've been fucking around the world, 15 years of it, in and out of Australia, around the world. Last trip I was in Canada for 9 months. I was in across India for 6, and I was in Bali for 2 years. And then I was in Australia for a few years, and I was in America and Hawaii and Japan and Thailand. And man, I've been around the world, but haven't been to Europe. Europe's going to be fun. I've always thought I'm going to bring something to Europe, and I don't know what it is yet. It may be a carnival of love. I'm looking forward to like a spiritual carnival. That's going to be fun.
Well,
but I got back. Yeah, I got back a year and a half ago, and I was like, I'm going to settle into this. I want to like find a piece of land up here, which is where I'm at the moment. Grow some food, just be on the land, and that's still a big part of what I want to do. But there's a greater force that guides me, Michelle, and it guides all of us. Beyond this idea of what should be, there is the experience of what is. And I sort of say, what will be, and what is. And if I can just be in that experience and accept it all, then it's all good.
I love that. I love it when I ask people what they're doing and they don't know, because I feel like for me, that's the epitome of how I do my life. When I used to be so severely organized, it was ridiculous, and to the point where, even like I was saying to you before we even started recording, look, thanks for kind of pulling all this together so quickly, because originally when I thought I was going to be live streaming the actual interviews, of course, that was like 1 a week over 3 months. It's not a lot of work, but then it's like Spirit had other ideas. Okay, then I'll just record 3 months worth in 2 weeks. And I think, to be in that place of surrender and joy still, I think that is cool. And I reckon, like, when that happens, though, I think it's like anything's possible. Kind of, that's the big adventure. It becomes really fun because it's like, holy crap, okay, so I was going to be doing that for 3 months, but I'm not now. What will I be doing? Okay, I don't know. Bingo, snap on that.
I think, I don't know, the greatest joy is to be in surrender and just be an instrument. Like if we really are just a vibrational frequency, then music is who we are. And what music tune will I play? Like I've always had this interesting experience with music in that I play all these different instruments. I play guitar. I love to sing. I play didgeridoo. I play flute. I play percussion. I can tap away on a keyboard if I need to. Like I'll pick something up and I'll make a sound out of it. I don't even mind. And yet I've always been, maybe if I just focus on that guitar, I'd get really good at that guitar. But for me, music is just an experience. And in surrender, it's like the true instrument can blow through me. If I was a flute, if this being is a flute and love is going to blow through this instrument and make the sound that comes out of this instrument, it's about letting this instrument be as in tune as possible. Therefore, I take care of my body and I eat great food and I exercise and I do lots of yoga and I go dancing and I do all those things that are great for me. I look after my mind. I meditate. I be in a place of peace and tranquility as much as possible. I tune the instrument and then I get out of the way. Then I surrender and I let the orchestra, I let divine source, that consciousness that I am, play this instrument and let it be whatever it is. And that's really where I'm at now, Michelle, is just this mind is too small to create what it is that this world needs from this being. It cannot comprehend what it is that needs to come out of this. And for me, letting go, and the more that I've done it and just accepted and trusted and surrendered to what is, the more bliss. And at the end of the day, that's why I'm here. I'm here to be bliss, to be love, to experience that. That's it. That's nothing more, nothing less. So now it's just letting go. Sorry?
Yeah, I get so excited listening to you talking in that way, because I know that when you're in that level of open-mindedness, seriously, anything is possible. It's like it's a freaking invitation to spirit isn't it? It's like, hey guys, guess what? I am capable of anything because I'm in complete surrender. How does that sound? And then they're like, Scotty, yay!
I tell you, it's where the most fun has been for me. You know, it's for years I called myself a spiritual adventurer. One, because I was an adventure guide, like I just went to nature and took people to nature, and then my whole journey was about working out who the fuck I am. What is this? And so, but that's it for me. It's like, it's a spiritual adventure. I just let go and let God, as Wayne Dyer likes to say, used to say, still does in his books and his works. Love that man. But that's where I'm at. So what's happened in the last few weeks has been very fascinating. Last 6 months, last 6 years, but getting back to Australia and then sort of taking time away from everything that I was doing with the Tribes United. Obviously, had a bit of an idea around we've got to get back to nature. We have to reunite as a people. We've got to get back to the land, and I know that to be true. But then after Peru, all this ego stuff came up, and I realized I had a lot of this identity that needed to be dissolved. And so I took refuge into the bush here where I am. I'm sitting on 8 acres up in Talabudra Valley in Queensland, just hiding away and meditating and doing lots of yoga and looking after myself. And I got a real job, Michelle, my first real job ever. I went to the corporate world and I spent 4 months working in the corporate world. It was first, I was just like, I need some money. I spent all my money. And sales has been something that I've been really passionate about for a long time. I told myself about 15 years ago, if I can sell anything, I'm going to sell happiness. And so I started selling happiness. I'm very good at selling happiness. Be it and then present it to others. And if they like it, they'll take it. So that's what I've been doing. But then I went and I worked for this travel company and I started doing sales for this travel company. Long story short, 6 weeks into it, I've come off the sales floor and I'm now managing a team of 30 salespeople, smashed all the targets, showed this company a whole nother way of doing things. And that was to bring love to the people and help them feel good. Like, you need two skill sets in any endeavor, but sales is on the knife edge of that, is that we need skills and we need self-belief or self-love. So we need to feel fantastic, amazing, and we need to have the skill sets that allow us to do the job. And so in sales, you need to be able to close, you need to be able to handle objections, you need to be able to do all these things. But at the same time, you need to feel amazing. You need to feel great, and especially when you're selling a product like travel. Get excited. You're going on holidays. It's fantastic. So all I did was I really focused on both of them at the same time, but I really put a heavy weight on love consciousness. And they were all about it. They're like, fuck, who are you? Where did you come from? And I told them who I was and what I've been through in my life. And they're like, we've never seen anything like you. In the corporate world, it's very different. You know, it's like suit and tie and, you know, straight lines. And I'm just being myself and hugging people and loving life. And so then I had an opportunity to sit with the CEO and talk about what I believe is a new way of being. And that is what I've been calling the love economy. And that if you increase love, you'll increase every other metric in the world. And for them, it's all about money. You know, it's the dollar. My whole job was to write numbers on the board, how much money we made in a day. And we were making a lot of money each day for this company, but the people were being paid very poorly. I was one of those being paid very poorly. And it was a lovely environment. The people were really nice, but it was all focused on money. And there was a lot of stress around that. And so I went through this stage of pitching the CEO, and not even pitching, but brainstorming with the CEO about creating a new role, which I was entitling the well-being officer. And I had this vision that I could bring more love into this corporate environment and then perhaps create training and coaching and programs that then could be leveraged into other organizations and help love to be infused into what is a decaying environment. We were a call center, you know, big call center. And the environment there in the corporate world and the sales environment is very much about pound of flesh, you know, give me what you got. And I thought maybe if I can bring more love, I can help people from the inside of that decaying system. At the same time, it was a 4-week process. The last 4 weeks have been negotiating and brainstorming and trying to work this out. At the same time, a dear friend of mine in Bali, who took me to Bali years ago, a beautiful man named John Abbott, the Abbott himself, he and I had been talking about coming in partnership again and working to help thought leaders, wisdom keepers, get out into the world and reach more people. And so it was very much a grassroots movement of taking leaders that already have great followings, you know, people that are highly respected, that are teachers already in their own right, and helping them with the skill sets that we have and being in service to them to get their words out there, their messages around the physical health, the emotional health, the spiritual world, community, getting back to nature, back into a unified force where we support each other and we work in love. And it's been this back and forth. It's like, okay, do I help transform the beast from within, get inside that corporate world and help to change that? Or do I go out to the grassroots level and help the people on the battlefield of life, connect into love and be that example of who we are as beautiful light beings, light workers. So it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And just this week, like 2 days ago, it's Friday now, 2 days ago, the decision was made. It was like I sat with the corporate and I sat with John and another potential partner in that. And it was like, all right, Scotty, which way is it going to go? And I just fully surrendered into it. And the moment collapsed in on itself. I said, thank you to the decaying world and goodbye. I walked away from the corporate world. And now I'm in the full surrender. I am a free being. I have no attachment to anything, to money, to outcome, to nothing. I've surrendered myself to the universe, I guess. And I made that very clear to John. I said, I'm a servant. I am a servant. You just guide me and the Great Spirit will guide me, and whatever happens, happens. I don't need anything. I got fresh air. I got some water. I eat very simple. I live very simple. And now it's just about going wherever it is that needs to be gone. So the idea of this having to be something is nothing at all. And it's just wherever I can serve to be that example of love and to help people with the skill sets that I have acquired. Obviously, one of them is the gift of oration. I don't know why. I can open my mouth and words come through. It's just, that's how it is. So I'll use that skill. Now it's wherever I have to be. And so I have to be in Bali. So I'm going to get on a plane in the next few days. I'm packing up here in this beautiful home. And I'm heading to Bali. From there, I'd like to go to America. I'd like to be, the 1 year is coming, Michelle. This is the 9 year now, right? Like we're finishing up the last 9 years of our evolution. 2016, 216 is 9. So 111, January 1st, 2017, I would like to be in Dakota with my relations there in Dakota. I used to live in America. I spent a lot of time with Indigenous people there. The Indigenous grandmothers welcomed me in 9 years ago at the start of this journey. They welcomed me in. I sat in circle for 3 days with 13 Indigenous grandmothers. There's 12, in fact. One was missing. I seem to be the 13th in that. And they invited me into their ways. So I'm going to head to Dakota. I want to sit with the relations in Dakota. I want to connect in with that spirit energy to bring in the new 1 year. And then from there, I'll probably come back to Australia and I'll see what's next. Where must I serve? I don't know. I'm okay with wherever. So,
I know.
Yeah, big transition.
Yeah, it totally is. And I just kind of get this vision that, like you went through all that process, like and then out of the blue, I contact you and I go, hey, you want to be, because I've usually had people contacting me to be on the show, but I just felt really strongly I wanted you to be on the show. And I think that's really interesting because I feel like your decision-making process, because that's what I stand for, is I really want to connect to the space holders, if you like, or leaders, however we want to enlighten leaders, I think, are space holders. So with those people that can hold the space that you're talking about, and who can role model it, I mean, that's actually the point of this show, is that we can have these kind of conversations, and that the people that are in those, perhaps in the decaying systems, actually look at it and go, that's what we need. Because I'm absolutely certain that there are more evolved people than the current leaders in most corporations. And if the leaders don't start understanding that and start to enlighten themselves, then what's going to happen is they're going to create resistance. They're going to create resentment. They're going to create people that are unmotivated in their actual company as well. And then that actually leads to lack of money flow, either for the person who's working there or for the actual organization. Either way, there's a high turnover of productivity. There's not a lot of love. There's not a lot of expansion. The change doesn't come from within the system then. And usually the leaders will get probably, I've seen it. They will get retrenched. They will get made redundant. Their positions will be no longer, or they get, there's some way they're moved on or put onto a project or something like that, out of the way. And so I believe, like, leaders traditionally in management positions in big corporations and things like that, It's a big wake-up call for them right now. And if they don't start listening, the writing is really on the wall as to what's going to happen for them, because it is not an if, but it is a when. As you're saying, changing things from within the system starts to occur. Actually took a real job with child safety for 5 years, and wrote 7 books, so remained sane within that. But for me, it was really interesting to see the level of psychic, intuitive, enlightened abilities that so many of those employees had. The management just perhaps couldn't, not that they couldn't see it, perhaps their uplines couldn't see it, but they just couldn't manage it. And that's really interesting, because there were skills lost, there was opportunities lost. I saw it all happening and unfolding before my eyes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was a peer support officer. I volunteered within the organisation to support my peers because I could, and I did the training that they offered, and then that training was slashed as well. So I saw all that happen and I experienced it myself. And I can really relate to what you're saying. I think at the very bottom of it, Scotty, it is at any juncture, any moment in time, the decisions that we make as in terms of holding that space is very much one of surrender. Spirit, what do you want me to do in this situation right now? Like you encountered in that meeting with, that you could feel it, the dive in energy, you felt it and you were like, okay. And the step that we need to make for our enlightenment next. That's it. Because if we're in surrender and we know the step that we're being called to make, whether that's to exit or to stay, that's all we need to do. Because I feel like that never stops. With leaders, that never stops either. You are faced with an employee, and if you cannot read that situation or that team, what they need to step up, what's needed here, then it's not the business that has the problem, it's the actual leadership that has the problem. So very passionate about this topic, Scotty.
I can tell.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I just find it really interesting that you make that decision, you get a call, you're on the program, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for asking me. And this is the first, I've started having meetings now. Had 2 really great meetings yesterday. Yesterday was my first day of not going to the office, which was rad. I'm literally sitting in a Bali hut overlooking a swimming pool and my home overlooking the ocean, and working from here now, working. Excuse my language. I'm going to swear a lot. You'll get over it. Fuck working. This is love. This is just the experience of love. And I'm looking forward to the days ahead. I see us having some hard days ahead, Michelle. There's going to be the next 9 years is not going to be the easiest 9 years for us, but the last 9 years hasn't been easy. Let's be honest. It hasn't been easy, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And this next 9 years, it won't be easy, but it will be amazing. It will be really beautiful.
Someone said that to me or they put a post on their thing that the last 9 years have been, challenging, blah, blah, blah. But I've had a really good 9 years. Okay, yeah, ups and downs, whatever, but so good. And I'm just putting my order in for another freaking awesome 9 years. I think that you get to a point where it's not this anymore and you're doing more this. And for me, the last 9 years have been more this, whereas I would say the 9 years prior was a lot of that. Yeah. But that's okay, carving it all out and really just, being consistent, turning up, surrendering. That's all you... Yeah.
That's sine wave, right? That's what we call it in physics, yeah? That's sine wave. That's the positive and the negative moving around the neutrality. It's the positive. So as you said, the 9 years before was like this, and now this one's like this. Eventually it'll be like this. Yeah. It'll just be unity. It won't have to be so much of the up and down. But I don't know. Maybe that's the whole point of being here. This is a playground. This is a real playground. And to have the hot and cold, the night and day, the you and me, the connecting in this way of you're over there, I'm over here. Perhaps that's the whole purpose that we're here, is just to be in this great experience of polarity, of you're there and I'm here. And wow, look at these senses that we've got to experience of each other. Because in the unity, it's just boom, bliss. It's just white light bliss. And it's just, wow, everything's expansive and amazing, which is amazing, right? It's expansive and amazing. But now it's so boom, we come into here and we have these relations. And we're relating in this way. So perhaps this up and down should always be there, but without the attack that it is a right and a wrong. I've got to be up here and that's the good spot. Oh, no, I don't want to be down here. Quick, turn around. It's just accepting it is as it is. And for me, I reckon that's the
yeah,
next
I
line.
find that definitely, yeah, for myself, because it's like, yeah, those moments are happening, but you're in the middle, so that, yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Because I do see it, and I see it all around me, and people are doing that, but I'm here, so I'm in the duality, but I'm not attached to it. Yeah, like I'm sort of in it, and I'm going, oh wow, this is really interesting, you know, watching it like a movie, but still in the bliss. So there's, yeah, it's like, I think the unity principle allows polarity. Ironic.
In Kung Fu, I studied martial arts since I was 10 years old. I still study now. I love martial art, and I speak Japanese. I used to live in Japan. I love martial art. In the Chinese philosophy, which is Japanese is based off, they have the yin yang. Yeah, we spoke about this before, and the yin yang has the yin is the receiving. So in Kung Fu, the yin would be like a block, and the yang is a strike. It's the masculine, it's the dominant. So you'd have yin, yang. So if you and I were fighting right now, and you would strike me, I would yin and I would yang. Then there's one more, which is the circle around the yin yang. Yeah, the circle. I'm trying to remember how we say it in Chinese. Lin sil dai dar, I think it is. Lin sil dai dar. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. So that circle around the outside.
Just thought I'd show my logo because it's got everything in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's also a spiral moving up, which is what the Tao is doing. It's spiraling. Everything's spiraling. So the circle around the outside is the ultimate in Kung Fu. So that if say you were to strike, I would block and strike at the same time. So I could deflect your strike, say with my arm, while striking you at the same time. That's the circle. So that's the experience of the yin yang at the same time. And that to me is where we're going right now. So we will experience the yin yang, but we will come from the circle. We will be in the unity. We will experience all of the yin yang rather than going yin yang, yes, no, good, bad, wrong, right. We're on the outside of that, experiencing the whole experience at once, and just being in awe of the yin yang, the night, day, the left, right, the good, bad, that experience by being that I'm sure it's Linsil Dai Da. I think it's that. I have to research that. It's been a while since I said that word, but I believe that's where we're heading. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think on that note, we might finish and leave everybody with that beautiful, amazing picture of, all-encompassing duality, polarity, oneness, the whole thing, because at the end of the day, it's all good and it all serves us, isn't it? And just to let people know where they can find you, Scotty.
The only place that I will be active anywhere at this stage is on Facebook. If I feel called to make any more media, you'll see me in the media. But otherwise, you can find me on Facebook, Scotty Z, Scotty with a Y, Z-E. My surname's on there, Mortimer, but just put Scotty Z and you'll find me. And otherwise, yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon, Michelle. I really appreciate this. This has been really fun just to get to brainstorm and have a conversation about what we're both passionate about. And for everyone that has had a listen today.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I hope that you're around for the, for the opportunity to do a Q&A, and I'm sure I will check in with you close to the time to make sure
for sure.
we organise that. But, that would be the hope, is that we could do a live feed, and anybody that has any questions can contact us, and we can, just be available to hold space for them. I'd love that opportunity. So we'll just see what spirit is feeling for you at the time, I guess.
I'm easy. As long as I have a mobile phone and an internet connection, I'm easy. I'm ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm actually not live streaming the guests in for that because of a bandwidth thing. So it's a call-in thing. So that's even easier for you because you can just call in. So sweet. Sounds like a plan. All right. Well, Scotty, thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed it. It has been phenomenally enlightening, and I love that, because it's always like, for me, this show is about me turning up to continue my enlightenment, and you've done a fantastic job. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Cheers. You're beautiful.
Bye.
Love you very much.